New reaction this morning from world leaders after Ireland, Spain, and Norway just announced the nations will soon formally recognize a Palestinian state. France's foreign minister is speaking out, just spoke out, saying that now is not the, quote, right time for any of its EU neighbors to recognize Palestinian statehood. So joining us right now is Democratic Senator Coons of Delaware, a key member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Thanks so much for coming on. So let's talk through this. Norway, Ireland, Spain, in quick succession, they announced these plans to recognize a Palestinian state. Hamas comes out with a statement applauding the announcement, saying, "We call on countries around the world to recognize our legitimate national rights, support the struggle of our people for liberation and independence, and the end of a Zionist occupation of our land." That's a statement from Hamas. And Israel, obviously, they are condemning this every way they can, recalling ambassadors and saying that this shows the world that terrorism pays. What do you think of this? What do you want to hear from President Biden?
Well, I expect what we'll hear from President Biden is a continued strong stance of support for Israel's right to exist and for the ongoing effort to try and resolve the Arab-Israeli conflict by reconciling Saudi Arabia and Israel, something that President Biden and his senior team and a group of us here in the Senate have dedicated a lot of time to in recent months. There is a positive path forward here, Kate, that would lead to a Palestinian self-governing territory, but through negotiations directly, where Saudi Arabia would recognize Israel. Israel would announce a new path forward for negotiations directly for a Palestinian self-governing state, and the United States would provide security guarantees. There's been a lot of effort put into this. That's what was underway just before the October 7th attacks by Hamas. Let's be clear, Hamas is a hateful terrorist organization dedicated to killing Jews and destroying Israel. So that they put out a statement today cheering on these announcements by Spain and Norway and Ireland should suggest that this is not a constructive step at this time, and we should continue pressing for a two-state solution through negotiations.
Is there any way to dial it? Is there any way to roll this back? You can't put the genie back in this bottle after this announcement, right?
It'll be difficult for those three countries to pull back their recognition, yes. But frankly, we need to get both sides back to the negotiating table for the release of hostages. I'll remind you, there are Americans still being held by Hamas in the tunnels under Gaza. Just after this interview, I'll be meeting with Rachel and John, whose son Hirsch, we now know is alive, but has been there, I believe, 228 days. A ceasefire in exchange for a hostage release and the negotiations for a path forward would be a significant positive step forward. It would allow humanitarian relief in to Gaza, and it would allow these families who have waited and prayed and worked so hard for so long to get the return of their loved ones. I'll remind you, Kate, those hostages are of many faiths from many countries and many backgrounds being held in terrible conditions in the tunnels under Gaza.
House Speaker Mike Johnson is threatening right now to move ahead without the Senate to invite the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to come address, well, it would then just be the House chamber. He first floated the idea of having Netanyahu come to make an address back in March, but since then, the ICC announced it's seeking the arrest warrant for Netanyahu. Do you want to extend the invitation to Benjamin Netanyahu to come speak before Congress right now?
Well, I'd like to see Prime Minister Netanyahu dedicated to the effort to get the hostages released and listening to the repeated input over many months from our military leadership and from President Biden to put forward a concrete plan. I'd love to hear from Prime Minister Netanyahu a concrete plan, both for the relocation of civilian refugees away from the potential for fighting in Rafah and for the day after, for what happens, what's the future of Gaza. As you know, Benny Gantz, a decorated military leader of Israel and now a part of the war cabinet, has said that he will leave the governing coalition by June 8th if there isn't some plan. There is deep frustration, I think, both inside Israel and here in the United States about the lack of a path forward. So what is it that Prime Minister Netanyahu will be saying to us? Hopefully, it's that he recognizes the absence of a plan for a positive path forward is a real challenge.
One of the reasons I wanted to ask about that address is because at the same time, Democrats I've seen are upset that I'll call it a similar invitation, has not been extended to Kenya's president, who is in Washington right now for a state visit. You're meeting with him today. And this state visit is the first by an African president since 2008. And the Speaker's office said that President Ruto didn't get the invite due to scheduling restraints. What do you think is going on here?
I think that was a huge mistake by Speaker Johnson. I think he should have invited President Ruto to address a full joint session of Congress. But this is a significant, a substantial state visit. Obviously, there will be a one-on-one meeting with our president. There will be events and meetings hosted by our vice president, by the Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, Secretary of Commerce, the Chamber of Commerce, and President Ruto will be meeting with Senate leadership, House leadership, and I'm co-hosting a lunch for him with dozens and dozens of members of Congress later today at the Library of Congress for him to speak about his leadership role on advancing conservation, promoting biodiversity, and his leadership in the region. President Ruto is a great partner in a significant democracy in a troubled region. Just look at the countries around him, like Somalia and Sudan and Ethiopia. And he is a good partner in security, in public health, in promoting opportunity and the digital economy. We have a talented Ambassador Meg Whitman there. And this long overdue state visit will be a great opportunity for our president and leaders in our Congress to show that they recognize the critical importance of Kenya in East Africa, but also in the world.
I will say, I mean, you've been there multiple times over the last year. It's a real recognition of just while our focus can be so narrowly our attention can be so narrowly focused sometimes, the world's issues and the partners of the United States all deserve so much attention, and that's going to be a bright light is going to be shined on that today with your meetings with the president of Kenya. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you. Thank you. Coming